Good morning. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Getting set up here.
Yeah.
I had password panic. Hi, everyone. Good morning, Risa.
Yeah.
Just Matt's today.
Okay.
I'm setting us up a new orientation today. So we'll be on the floor together, and then we'll be up together. Hi there. Good morning. We'll let this minute pass as people join. It's nice to see everyone. No props, just your mat. Good morning or good afternoon for some of you. It's a really beautiful day outside, which feels really welcome at this time, and then also really incongruous. So let's try to find some balance in the body. Okay. I was inspired by my daughter's stretching this morning at a very wee hour. So we're going to take one of our legs in hand. If you want to be sitting on a chair, you can do that. And this isn't a test of your flexibility. It's just finding mobility. So if this is making you feel inflexible or tight, then you can take a different mobilization. It's just to oil up the joints. But we're also, for the past week and a half, we've been finding these sort of anchoring points where we give ourselves our structure, our bones, some squeezing, some hugging, and some really solid contact. So we're going to use this moment of mobility to also do that. And we've been talking about how we kind of sort of close this loop for ourselves instead of always, for me, relying on other people and social connections to do that, and how we do that physically. So right now we have this loop that's created our foot to arm connection in some way. So start with just a play on your own, and we're going to move into a play with the same arm as leg. So I've got my left foot, I'll mirror you, in my left hand. Olympia this morning was, she could have looked underneath her own leg because she doesn't really have ligaments yet that are meaningful. But it just looked so juicy. So I'm doing this mobility right now where I'm going to bring the leg in this way, and then I'm going to come out and find some internal rotation. You can really lift this hip off finding this, or you can leave the hip on depending on what your range is here. But know that if you have a flex to your foot and you're anchoring this hand so that these bones here, my arm bone and my shin bones, if they have a sort of a symbiotic relationship, supportive relationship, then the tracking of the knee will take care of itself. If once we start getting into sort of this play where they're opposing their lines, also really nice, but can lead to instability, which is okay right now unless you've got a knee thing going on. Okay, other leg in the hand. First, just a stirring of that whole limb. You can get into your feet. like the children making their way outside. They'll be going in a moment. There's stirring. And then inward rotation. And out. And the last thing that we want to find right now is this slingshot action. We'll go back to our first side, our left leg. I might have mixed up my legs with you verbally, sorry. So we're going to slingshot that leg back and forth. So my hand is into my foot is into my hand. And as I reach back, there's this resistance, this springy resistance and forward. We're just going to practice that simple action for a moment. She can come here for a moment.
No, she has.
I can't cover, well, I can cover my ears, but they can't cover their ears, sweetie. Theo is suggesting that you cover your ears for a moment, which is a great idea. My little elf.
Mama,
Yes.
stop shoveling.
All right. That sounds great.
Only shoveling.
Perfect.
No, I'm done shoveling. Now I'm going to fix it.
Sounds good, honey pie. Thank you. And back to a cross-legged position now. Hold on to your own knees and feel this square, this box that you're creating. Couple of breaths here. We've been focusing on the knees the past couple of days, and you can take this, your heated hands now, and just bring as much of the surface onto the knee and as much attention as possible. Just this touch, it's like a micro Reiki moment. Can bring some fluidity, warmth, lubrication to the joint. Shoulders away from the ears. Let the head tilt to one side. Lengthen that arm out. As you do that, start to feel the sides of the abdomen wake up. And other side. Okay. Last mobilization before we come into our belly work. Coming up high, and we have nice wide legs right now. The hands can stay on tops of the knees or they can come underneath. Whatever your preference is for your hand hold. I'm going to come underneath. And from here, I'm going to circle my pelvis around and then come up. So often we do these in sort of a cat-cow pattern. I start class so often that way, just for my own mobility of my spine to find that range. But right now, we're immediately going to be in this position, and we're going to start to curl around. And you can keep going in one direction. As you come towards the back of your circle, lighten up the grip on the hands, perhaps, so you can start to wake up the supports in the front body. Other way. And see if there's a breath pattern that works for you. Often we exhale on the way back and we inhale on the way up. But sometimes, reverse every few circles, sometimes people prefer the opposite pattern. And try a few out right now. As you get going, you can make this more fluid, quicker, slower. Play with the range. And for the last few, we're going to try to really seal the feet to the floor as well, in whatever position they're in, so we can wake up the soles of the feet and feel this new loop that we're creating, these new connections. Last time. onto the back. Get away from you. Coffee is here. Circle up that right hip inside the hip socket. You can do that with your own hand if you wish. Other way. Bring that left hand right on top of the pelvis, right here. Really low. And just start to feel with this, again, just with the sensation of the hand, the palpation of your own hand on your low pelvis. We will do the work of starting to wake up the transverse, that really low, deep muscle that we adore so much. Give a few hinges to that knee, warming that up. And then we're going to anchor the femur bone in place, flex on the way up, point on the way down. I was talking about this a bit the other day. So we are opening up the hamstrings, the backs of the legs. But with this patterning, first of all, of anchoring the femur bone in place, even if you don't get to extension, that's important. And with the patterning of pointing on the way down and flexing the foot on the way up, this is also a nerve glide. And oftentimes, weak or tight hamstrings, especially if it's an old injury, can result in some nerve, I hate that word, damage, nerve injuries, clogged nerves, and this can open them up. It's a good way of putting it. All right, other side. First our stirs, lubricating the hip joint with or without your hand doing the work. And then we're going to bring the hands behind the leg, up and down, lengthening. Just a few really simple hinges, imagining that we have really oiled up joints. That might be our imagination right now, but that's a powerful thing. When we flex and lengthen, anchoring the femur bone into place as we point and bend. And this, I was talking about the other day, if you do have anything going on with your hamstrings, this is a great one to do if you're standing up and you can anchor your hamstring into place somewhere, like on a chair or couch, and you have this patterning of the leg, can be very, very helpful in healing an adductor or a hamstring injury. Okay, without further ado, here we go, into our stomach series. Bring those two hands, and your like little diamond shape, bring them onto the pelvis. Exhale, and feel that beautiful support, that wringing out, pressing of the sponge of the transverse. It's going to anchor your pelvis into place. With the next exhale, keeping that completely anchored, no movement in the pelvis, no movement in the spine. You're going to draw the right knee into the chest. Take a breath here. And then you're going to draw the left knee into the chest. No movement in the low spine or the pelvis. So we're going to use that principle for the rest of this series. If you're in an imprinted spine, that's fine, or a neutral spine retaining the curve of the back, it's fine. Left hand on the right knee, right hand on the right ankle. Extend the left leg up. Keep that contact. Whatever's in the ground is going to stay exactly there as you lower your leg until you can't support that structure any further. There we go. Tuck the chin, lift the head and scapula up off the floor, and change. Connect, especially with each exhale. And if you want to have a more classical breath pattern of exhale, 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 it does mean that the breaths are shorter, which, it's really nice to have long, low breaths. But if you can connect into that pulsing exhale, that will really recruit, especially at an earlier hour, recruit the transverse, the pelvic floor. Try that out for yourself and see if with every movement and with every breath, you can remind that transverse to engage. Navel drops down towards the back body, anchoring the pelvis, anchoring the low spine. 2 knees into the chest. Bring the hands right behind the head. Keep that head up. Exhale, transverse engages, navel drops down. this variation that we've been working on the past few days. So we're gonna go out, legs on a diagonal. The feet are gonna scoop around, almost creating like a circle, a dip down. Then we're gonna come in, we're gonna peel very slowly the back up off the mat. And then we're gonna extend right out to that diagonal. You can breathe through this, or you can have movements corresponding with the breath. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhale. Yeah? Oh, a few more. I've been enjoying trying to do this and keep the movement completely constant at the same velocity throughout, not accelerating, not slowing down. A few sighs might be nice. And it's that point. There's these 2 points right here that are the most challenging. And then right here where the legs dip down. Ooh, that's where we're challenging our muscles the most to keep the structure in place. Lower the head down. Let the head roll side to side. Make sure you're not garnering more attention in the upper body. Okay. Preparation for our mermaid. Another newbie. And my belly is very sore today. I think I say that every day now, because you all make me work really hard. So, I'm here. I'm going to leave my left hand towards my knees, or it's going to come to the floor. Either way. My right hand is going to be up in the air. So, I'm going to come up towards a teaser. There's a relationship right now between my head, my hand, and my feet. I can be up like this. It's a little Grammy. Or I can bring that hand down to the floor. And then I'm going to roll onto the back body. Ooh. Other side. And so we have a little bit of rotation each time. Here, it's just slight. It's like the beginning of our mermaid. So I'm not on the side, I'm not on the back, but I am teetering kind of on one sit bone and onto the back body. Okay, here we go. Enough explanation. That hand on the knee might be helpful if you need help getting up. And lowering down. Breathe through this. One more. Onto the back. Stir those knees around as a unit. Other way. Okay. That's our fun little interval. Now, back to basics. Tuck the chin, lift the head and scapula up off the ground, hands are behind the head, reach 2 legs up towards the ceiling. Exhale, connect, transverse, pelvic floor. Reach the right leg towards you as the left leg moves away. And change. Our goal right now is going to be creating a really slow, imagine that you have this most beautiful water that you're moving through so that the quality is smooth, liquid, pointing through the toes or extending through the tops of the feet if pointing through the toes is uncomfortable or causes any cramping. And you can either breathe through this or inhale as the legs pass, exhale as they open. Inhale. Either way, we're breathing. 2 more. Onto the back. Hands on tops of the knees. Hook the thumbs and then let the knees fall away from the center. Nice soft shoulders. Just a couple more here in our series. Okay, a little bit of footwork. So before we get into our footwork, just take the feet and have our or circles or little windmill circles. And other way. Try to make this as quick as possible, waking up the soles of the feet. Quick and specific. Okay, knees to the chest. Tuck the chin, hands behind the head, lift the head and scapula up off the ground. Strong flex to the feet. Like you have a strap or like some sort of elastic on the ball of your foot. You're going to reach out, extend through the toes and back in. And extend. And in. A little bit of lower leg focus today. Hopefully as we start to be able to get outside, or we have the imagination that we can be outside more. When we can go outside, our feet will be ready. Our quads will be ready. Our glutes will be ready. Our cores will be ready, etc., etc. A couple more of these. Lower the head down. Bring that head right back up. This is similar to one we did a moment ago. Flexing that foot. Now, as you reach out, there's just going to be a slight twist and back in. Slight twist and in and out. I'm realizing that part of the reason that crisscross and mermaid never get easier is because we don't practice a whole lot of engagement in spirals in my classes or in Pilates in general. So much of it is so square. So I'm trying to add some twisting and engaging at the same time, not just twisting to release. Whew. Couple more. One more each side. Knees into the chest, happy baby. Feel those same anchored loops, foot to hand to pelvis that we felt at the beginning of class. And here also with your exhale, it's a really nice position to feel the pelvic floor engaging. And as the pelvic floor engages, maybe you can find more length from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Engaging with the exhale, releasing with the inhale. Okay, knees into the chest. Time for some crisscross, hands behind the head. Tuck the chin, not taking the curve out of the back of the neck. Lift the head and scapula up off the ground. Okay, reach the right leg long. Reach the right armpit towards the left knee. Your scapula is off the ground. Your upper arm is off the ground. Find that position on the other side. Your scapula is off the ground. See the elbow twisting from above the navel. Connect the transverse and change. Connect that exhale. It might mean that you have a breath in for one movement, and then the exhale is 2 or 3 movements. Or if you find that you're holding your breath or cutting off the end of the exhale, go for that classical Pilates breath. Exhale, 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 exhale. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, Nelly. Wide feet, knees together. Bring your hands to the occipital joint at the back of your head. I'll show this. You can stay lying down. You're just going to bring your fingers here to that joint. You can imagine that, I don't know if you can see my rocking chair in the corner, but you can imagine that the bottom of the skull is like a rocking chair almost. Not exactly what's going on, but if you imagine that you have those sort of spokes to palpate, to lift up with the pads of the fingers, you can release a whole lot of those beautiful branches of muscles that come up the back of the skull. And they're attaching or eventually attaching in an indirect way to some larger muscles that give us some grief, like the trapezius, those eager beavers that want to do everything, those traps. So if you can release this attachment up here slightly, it can echo down the chain of the body. Okay. Roll onto your side and then onto your belly. And hopefully we just did feel some release with that last mini trigger point massage. You're going to come into Sphinx position here, and we're going to come, so if you can be like reading your book, watching TV in this position. Then we're going to fire up those muscles that we were just working in the center. Automatically, you'll feel the glutes wake up. That they will do that sort of involuntarily. The arms now are plugged into the shoulder girdle. And from here, see if, even though we're bearing weight on our elbows, and we have the shoulders so strongly pushing away or pulling away from the ears, see if you can feel that lightness of head. Imagine that palpation that you just did with your own hands, allowing the branches of the muscles into the skull to soften. Lengthen through the right arm. Feel that spiral that you're creating all the way from the tip of your tailbone through the crown of your head. Lower it down. And other side. This time we're going to go all the way around. And other side. And lower yourself all the way to the ground. Make a little pillow for your head. I'm going to turn the other way. Hopefully you can see my lower body more. So we are going to make a pillow for your head and let your head roll down. I'll often be like this just so I can keep my eyes on you. Exhale. Draw the navel up towards the ceiling as if you could lift the belly button up off the floor. Some of you probably will do that. Mine definitely does not. The pubic bone is going to come down in towards the floor, and the glutes will engage. From here, exhale, lift 2 legs up off the mat. Lower down. Exhale, lift. Lower down. We did that sort of as a warm-up. Really, truly parallelize the legs. Now, here we go. We're going to do 4 of those. Exhale. And again, your head can be down in the ground. I'm just looking at you. As I do this, I'm not just trying to arch my legs up towards the ceiling. I'm not going for like the most that I can find. Trying to reach the feet away from the center. And when I really solidly think of that, my glutes wake up in a totally different way. If I stretch the feet away from me, trying to get longer. Rotate the legs out from the very tops of the thighs. Feel that engagement. And then same thing, feet rotated out and lower and up. You know, this is like, I've been not doing a lot of this glute work because it's small, it's less of a sort of acute full body burn, but I'm realizing that my posterior chain, the connection is missing it. And as I've started to do it over the past couple of weeks again, it's made a difference. So bear with me, we'll do the big burny stuff too. Come back to parallel, wag the tail out. And then exhale, isolate one leg lifting off. And then you're going to draw circles. So you could do that quite low, but try to find what that upper range is for yourself, still with the toes, reaching away from the center. Try to find that upper range and reverse. So when we were on our backs a moment ago, we were sometimes in our exercises, we were sometimes stabilizing everything. Lower that leg down, wag the tail out. Exhale, other side. Begin your circles. Sometimes we're stabilizing everything so that we could find movement in our joints. A big part of Pilates, right? So now we're doing that on our bellies. So we're trying to keep all of this stable and just have the movement be in the femur bone. And reverse. Lower down, wag that tail out. Just a couple more here. Exhale, lift 2 legs up, parallel. From the tops of the thighs, rotate out and in. I'll try to show this. So I'm basically going out and in, but I'm not doing it with my feet. I could just do it with my feet. Trying to do it from the tops of the femurs. Out and in, and out, and in. A couple more. And out, and in, and out, and down. Wag that tail out. Peel up vertebrae by vertebrae. Come on to hands and knees. Reach back. Hinge back. Bring the left leg out. Take a few of these. Hinging back and forth. Other side. Okay, and make our way to our side body. Get some other parts of the glutes. And you can lay your head down on your, I'm going to turn the other way so that my head's in the comments. You can lay your head down on your arm or you can prop it up. Your 2 legs are extended out. For you bonier folks that feel that you're teetering back and forth, it can be helpful to move the legs forward slightly. I'm fine being in a long line. I don't have that problem. I'm going to lift the top leg up and I'm feeling this leg that's on the bottom. For me, it's my right leg. I'm feeling it really ground strongly in towards the mat. It's not relaxed and sickling. It's actually a really strong flex and it's doing some work. Here, my left femur bone is going to rotate inwards. It's doing it from the very top of the hip socket. Move it back slightly, lower it down so that the toes of that upper leg are just kissing the heels of the lower leg and then up. So we have a slight inward rotation. Wherever you are with your hand, if it's supporting on the ground, if it's still on your hip, we're all going to bring it to our side here. If you're teetering a whole lot, bend that leg on the floor. And up. I'm giving this leg some really strong resistance right now, especially at the top. It's nice to keep, I love using my own arms as resistance because it's not consistent. It's not like a weight that weighs 3 pounds throughout. With the hands, you can make it harder at different points. And so you can make it harder at the initial kind of takeoff or at the very top. Should be getting quite a nice burn by now. This one is where I always find my soprano range. Or screech, I should say. Take that hand, bring it in front of you unless you're comfortable keeping it on your hip. And you know if you are or not. Big circles of the leg. Take these circles bigger in range than usual. See what your range is. I could, if I shorten my hip and I roll back, I could have a nice big range, which is not really a true range. Instead, you're trying to lengthen along both sides, this sort of standing side that's into the floor, we'll call it, and the working side that's up. Reverse those circles. Those were most definitely not anything like circles for me. They weren't even ellipticals. They were more like triangles. Whew. Reaching the heel. Remember when we were reaching the toes strongly away from the center? We're reaching the heel strongly away from the center right now. Cross that leg in front, hanging onto the ankle. Lift the lower leg off and pulses up, up. Doing some isolating of all of these muscles surrounding our knees. This is my theme this week because of my beloved friend and her beloved knee. It inspired me. And realizing that for myself, I can really overdo it in some of my exercises and create imbalance. And what happens, flip that leg to the back. What happens when we do that is we create more imbalances in our own knees. So for me, I have to focus on all of the glutes. And there's many different fibers of the glutes and muscle groups in there. And then also the adductors staying really strong. Whew. 3, 2, 1. Okay, almost done. Take that top leg now, internally rotated. If you have to come a little bit forward and balance yourself, that's okay. We're going to stay in whatever plane you're in, so we're not going to move now. As we rotate the leg out, and I'm going to point my toes right to my knee. Flex, internally rotate. So now I'm just sort of re-experiencing this range that we just found and kind of worked through repetition. Now try to find it again in this movement. Try to locate the different muscles, the adductors, the glutes, that inward rotation, and now moving through that pattern to outward. Fold the knees in. They're both in this sort of passe. Not too deep in front of you, just shallow. Lift those heels up off the floor, and then clamshells up and up. Some of you might be able to do this. Lower down, up, with the knees off the floor as well. Both knees. I'm going to keep my one knee on the ground today. Keep that shape where it is. Roll onto your belly. It's okay if you roll off your mat. Here we are. Sealing the feet together. I'm going to lift from the top of the pelvis up. Think about that leg lift that we did at the beginning of class. We'll do some releasing at the end of class today, I promise. We're trying not to work the QL, those muscles that are attaching from the bottom of your, I guess like you could feel it like right in the small of your back. That's where you would feel your QL. We're trying not to use those, which are kind of like your back hikers. We're trying to move farther down the chain and use the glutes themselves. Quadratus lumborum. Whew. That one we don't need to try to work. It will, just like the trapezius, it will work itself. Wide knee child's pose, reaching back. Don't come into extension just yet. We were in opposite extension for a while, so don't bring too much of a curve to the back. Curling up. Now you can have a little more, I said extension, I'm sorry. I meant flexion. Now you can have a little bit of flexion. Take a walk around your mat as we switch to the other side. And let this walk have a cat prowl to it. It's like one of my teachers' exercises, Kathy Grant, her sexy cat exercise I'm reminded of. So think again of the relationship from the crown of the head to the tailbone as you take this walk around. And then also feel the front body reigniting. We're going to get back to that front body in a moment. Okay, onto our sides. Here we are. Again, here, lying down, or up here. Those legs can be in a long line, or you can move them forward. Top leg's going to come off, move it slightly back, rotate it out, lower it down. Should be back enough so that when you lower your leg down, your toes are kissing the heel, and then up. You can do this internal rotation, this slight internal rotation. You can do it from both hips rocking forward. Not so effective, so we're trying to keep that in the hip socket. You can also do it from the foot. I have a tendency to cheat that, to just sickle my foot and call it a day. So instead, I'm going to try to keep focusing on the femur inwardly rotating. Bring your top arm, whichever arm is on top for you right now, whichever side you're on, onto the thigh and have that dynamic resistance, making it harder for your leg. And try making it harder in the top range and at the takeoff at the bottom. Oh, that bottom leg is strongly supporting. You have a nice flex through the foot and it's strongly grounding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, big circles now. Oh, hi, honey.
I'm still teaching you.
Not too much more.
Huh?
Not too much more.
Okay, let me watch you.
They're right here, honey.
Huh?
They're right in front of you.
Huh?
They're right in front of you here.
Well.
Right here.
Oh,
Ah,
these are my drawings. I just thought on.
take that leg, bring it in front,
And so
and
sweet down.
lift up. Just working on some adductor stuff. Move a little closer to me, sweetie. Okay.
I'm just too tired of doing. Have to get
Take
it
that
wet.
top leg and move it to the back. There you go, sweetie. So we're here now.
Yeah, I thought we were gardening.
No, but I have to get a little wet.
Is he okay, Joy?
He's okay right now. Yeah.
This is so bad.
Mm. Ah. Okay. Clamshells. My feet are up here. Sorry. Lift those feet up. I'll try to do an even bigger range of motion. Here. There we go. And some of you perhaps can have the knees off the whole time as we pulse.
I'm just sleeping because I got a lot of wood today. But
I skipped one thing, or I'm doing it in a different order. You guys, sorry about that. Okay, now lengthen through the legs, rotate inward and outward, and in. If you are able to balance this and have your hand off of the ground, and see if you can feel that sheath of front support. We just fired up kind of a little bit more briefly than usual at the beginning of class. So I really wanted to work on all of this leg business today. Okay. On to hands and knees. And give the hips a bit of a wag side to side. We're letting the one hip get heavier and then the other. And now take your right leg in front of you. Tuck the pelvis under strongly so we can just get a little bit of hip opening. From here, if you want to stretch to the side.
Huh?
Outside, he wants you.
Huh?
He wants you to keep planting outside. Other side.
No. This is terrible. And I'll say it again. Where's my old dog named Love?
I don't know, maybe right there, sweetheart.
No.
Okay,
No.
a little bit more.
Well,
Oh,
and
my
my
gosh.
dog named Love.
Let me check out the time here. Okay, good.
Can't find my dog named Love.
You'll find them, sweetie. They're probably in. It's probably in your jacket. Back onto our backs. We're gonna go for a mermaid today. We're gonna try to do 4. Never ever been done before. And if you don't know what this exercise is, then we'll do it on the first one, and then you can join for the
There's no
latter
love.
3.
You have to find it with
Think about those first exercises where we're preparing our spirals. I'm gonna find it, honey. We're gonna reach up. As we're reaching up, I'm imagining that I have this elastic between my hands and my toes. Very elastic shape. Now, tucking under at the pelvis, scooping, locating the transverse, just like we were doing at the beginning of class. I'm gonna open up onto my side. The tendency is to ka-thunk, to let go, to get onto the side and kind of catch ourselves by our structure. That's, for me, that's the hardest point. For others, it's this point, and sometimes this is the hardest. I'm trying to lift my leg off the floor and this arm. And then I'm going to reach up. Other side. You can have some fluidity to this. It doesn't have to be ultra slow. But what we're trying to do is have this consistent speed throughout. And it means that the upper body is going to have to unfold slightly sooner or faster than the lower body. Same thing on the way up. Okay, that was the first one. Each time in between, we're just going to have a moment for a breath. I suggest this position, just to take a breath in and out. We're going to try to do 3 more, okay? We do get a little pause between. Here we go. Into your teaser position and rolling, scooping under. Think about those exercises we did at the very top of class. Long connection between hands and feet. And again, as we were doing a moment ago, the feet are reaching so strongly away from the center. Ironically, when we do that, when we reach our limbs away from the center, what we're also doing is actually connecting to our center. And we can open up that channel of support. If there's any blocks there, that's when we get ka-thunky, is my word. Come on, Isadora, I needed my modification. And for those folks that need a modification, that's a beautiful one, walking up the legs. Another really nice one, you need to do it slightly earlier in the exercise, is to drag the hand up with you from the side. Here we go, right back into teaser. 2 more. Think about the connection through the center. Exhale, really active. Okay, last one. Here we go. Take a few rolls, rolling back. You can stay in this seal position, tucking the arms under. It's so nice in the hips to do that. I'm going to reorient so that we all meet in standing in a moment and you don't have to watch me fiddle with my camera. I know, this is so hard, isn't it? I agree with you. I fully agree. Somehow it just doesn't get easier. Even when we're adding repetitions, but it's not like the 3 repetitions became any easier. All right, so I've switched my orientation. You can stay, obviously, wherever you're at. And we're going to come just right up to standing at the top of your mat and take everything that we were just focusing on and bring it right up with you to standing. So imagine that balance that we found between our tailbone and our pubic bone. We found by this support of our transverse, this sort of sponge that's supporting, I think that wet sponge. But then also what we've been working on is these spirals and the side body being just as active as the front body and the back body. And so it's this 360 support that we can feel. Knit the ribs together. Nice light head. Find that standing. And now standing, we're just going to take the right foot off. I'll try to mirror you, and I hope I don't mess up my foot, or what I say out loud. And then we're just going to come back into a low lunge. This first part of this low lunge, I'm not going to be in my fullest range. Be a little bit shorter, and both of my legs are going to be, my back leg's almost straight, my front leg is just a little bit bent. So I don't have this strong, straight, bent ratio. So I'm making this a little bit smaller, a little bit narrower, thinking that I have the same support, elastic support. And then from there, from feeling that, I'm going to really open up that hip, my right hip, by starting to reach the heel back. Corresponding action of the front knee. And if you need to scooch your leg back so you can let your range get nice and big and juicy, you can do that now. We're trying not to let go of the adductors. So what wants to happen is this. We want to start to open. And the beautiful principles of like yoga alignment is that we have this force this way, and then we have an opposing energy squaring ourselves off, and then we can find our range. All of these countering spirals, balancing spirals. Palms face forward, exhale, push the air down. Inhale, bend, bring the air up. Exhale, lengthen, inhale. I'm going to have a nice tempo, quicker tempo, a little bit breezier today. But if you want to take this slowly, by all means, you can almost swing this if you're feeling you want to be more up-tempo. 5, 4, 3, all the way through the fingertips, 2, and 1. Stay here. Open the arms wide. Reach the fingertips back behind you into a cactus position. Reaching fingertips back, opening up the chest. Opening up, opening up, opening up as you lengthen through the fingertips. Fall forward. Stay in your lunge. Plant your right hand down. Reach the left arm long by your ear. Reach it up and around. Circling once, other way. Plant that hand down. Come into plank. Breathe here. If you want to lower one knee down and then the other knee and do our 4 points, a lot of you know this exercise. Going down, down, up, up. That's a great preparation for a plank. Or you can stay in plank. We're about halfway through right now. Our minute. Easy head, support of the transverse. Reach the hips back, bend the legs, hop right on up. Other side. Into your shallow low lunge to begin. So that shallow lunge, we'll just walk through that. My back leg's not perfectly straight. My front leg's not perfectly bent. I'm going to focus on all of this support. Then I'm going to reach that right heel back behind me and start to find length. And as I do that, I'm going to start to find this countering energy, the left of your right knee. Scooch your left foot back a little farther, and then see if you can find that balance, that squared off hip. So again, what wants to happen is you're going to want to open that spiral, and you can do that right now. Let that happen, and then bring this back so that the adductors, all of that balance we were talking about before, underneath, behind, side, we're trying to keep that as we're in this lunge, this place of flexion and strength. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Nice swing. Even if you're going slowly, you can just imagine you're doing a slow motion swing. Woo, got a little off my axis there, which happens whenever I lose my connection. That's when I'll lose my axis. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay here. Cactus arms. Reach the arms back behind you. Slow. Coming forward. Plant the arms down. Again, into plank. Feel that support. Feel the shoulders away from the ears. Get a micro bend in the arms. 4 points if you need to. Good, I have 2 more minutes. And if not, I'll get my legs in. We're going to take one rainbow arc around to the side and down. I'll show that on the other side and down. One more time and down. And reaching back. Roll onto your back. Our last moment. Exhale. Keep the fire going. Come up into a back bend. We did some back opening before, so you're safe to do that if back bend is in your repertoire. If you want to take any modifications, do that. Any variations. Another couple of breaths here. And for our last minute, thank you for a wonderful class. We're just gonna stretch out our back a bit. So I'm gonna do that in a good old forward fold so I can talk to you, because I like to do that. Thank you all so much for taking. Thank you, Barb. Breathe into the back body. You can let your head go. Stand you up. I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for taking. That was so much joy you bring me at the beginning of my day. And I know that's not the beginning of everyone. Oh, I'm glad you had good pajama workout. Oh, thanks, Max. It's in the middle of your day. Thank you, Georgia. All right, love you. Bye.